In 1692, in a small Puritan village in Massachusetts, a group of teenage girls began acting strangely. They screamed, they threw things, they contorted their bodies in impossible ways. The doctors had one explanation: witchcraft. And that diagnosis would cost 20 innocent people their lives.
Salem Village was a place of fear. Fear of native attacks, fear of starvation, fear of the devil. So when Reverend Parris's daughter Betty and her cousin Abigail fell sick, the town was ready to believe the worst. They couldn't eat, they crawled under furniture, they claimed to see ghostly figures. Before this, the girls had been listening to stories from Tituba, an enslaved woman from the Caribbean. She told them about voodoo and fortune-telling. When the fits began, Tituba became the first target.
Tituba's confession ignited a powder keg of fear. She didn't burn alone. She named names, and the town's madness began. Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne. The accusations spread like wildfire, consuming the innocent. Even Rebecca Nurse, a pillar of the community, was ensnared. No one was safe from the witch hunt's grip. In Salem, fear was the only crime, and hundreds were convicted of it.
The trials were a circus. The judges, led by Chief Justice William Stoughton, allowed spectral evidence, testimony about dreams and visions. If a girl claimed she saw your spirit torturing her, that was enough. You were guilty until proven innocent. One man, Giles Corey, refused to stand trial. He knew he would be found guilty, so he was pressed to death, heavy stones placed on his chest over 2 days. His last words: more weight.
19 people were hanged on Gallows Hill. They weren't burned at the stake. That's a myth. They were hanged like common criminals. One man, John Proctor, was hanged after his pregnant wife was accused. He wrote from prison, "We are all innocent." Another man, George Burroughs, recited the Lord's Prayer perfectly on the gallows. The crowd was moved to tears. But Cotton Mather, a powerful minister, reminded them, the devil can appear as an angel of light. Burroughs was hanged.
By May 1693, it was over. The governor's wife had been accused. That was the last straw. The court was dissolved. But the damage was done. 20 executed. 5 more died in prison. An 80-year-old man was crushed to death. And the accusers? They went back to their lives. Years later, some of the accusers apologized. Ann Putnam, one of the loudest voices, stood in church and asked for forgiveness, but the dead couldn't hear her. Today, Salem is a tourist town. They sell witch hats and magic candles, but underneath, the ghosts of 1692 still whisper. When fear takes over, reason dies. The Salem Witch Trials weren't about witches. They were about fear, about power, about what happens when a community loses its mind. Innocent people died because other people were afraid. What would you have done? Let me know in the comments.